Hey everybody, welcome back where we go through the New Testament line by line in a big hope to figure out all the vagaries in the New Testament, which is a daunting task. And previously, in our previous video, Jesus says if you accept, him, if you accept Jesus, the one who sent him also receives you. And it goes on to say, or the disciple, I was confused whether the disciples are actually deities to be worshipped, and really vague stuff. So I encourage you to go view it and then read it yourself. Now we are in Matthew chapter 11 verses 2, where Jesus departs and he goes on and he says, where he departs to go preach the message of John. It doesn't say yet who John is, but later it does say it's John the Baptist. But John hears of Jesus in prison, and he sends two disciples to go visit John and tell John of all these miracles Jesus has been doing. But why is John in prison? It doesn't say. But the disciples asked John, and this is quote, "Art thou he who is coming, or for another do we look?" So they're asking, are you the guy, or is there somebody else? It seems like Jesus would have given them a really good description of who he was, and they would have known. If they are the disciples, they themselves previously have already been doing miracles on their own. Jesus gave them this power to do very similar things that he has done. Just curious why they wouldn't know, and how would they not know? So in Matthew chapter 11 verses 7, as it keeps going down, Jesus began speaking to the multitudes, or the masses, and he talks about John, preaching about John. Why is he doing this? Like he is Jesus with Jesus' message. Good. So in the verse 8, chapter 11 of Matthew, Jesus says, John is more than a prophet. More than a prophet. What exactly does that mean? There's no description of that. And does that mean, like, it can imply a lot of things depending on your own personal interpretation? Does that mean we should all aspire to be more than a prophet, or a prophet? Or should we mirror John and his actions? What exactly was Jesus saying about John? It doesn't even say. But it does imply prophets are preordained. But also, does that mean we can all strive to be prophet-like? Just doesn't say. This is the Word of God. One would think it would be a little bit more specific, because it lends itself to thinking that these scribes were writing solely for the benefit of the authoritarian class. And in verse 10, for this is whom it has been written. If that's true, why did all the Jews then and now not even remotely believe this? Just like, why? And then John prepares the way before you. So Jesus is saying John is preparing your path. Your path to what? It's unclear. Your path to salvation, your path to the heavens, because they always use heavens as plural. Preparing for what? And does that mean we need to emulate him? And then finally we're told that that's John the Baptist in verse 11. A lot of vague stuff. And this vagary is a perfect illustration of why there are so many denominations. Just like there are billions of people on the planet now, there have been billions of people who have lived and died, and the circle of life continues. Even though they may all subscribe in their societal norms, whatever those were, their particular gods, they all have a different interpretation inside of them. Everybody is just a shade different. And I think in those shades and shadows where the light eventually comes in is that we can learn how to shrink in and reduce our divides amongst each other, and learn the art of communication, the art of listening, the art of meditating together, the art of connecting to Mother Nature, the the practice of being good stewards of the land, to cultivate our food together where we are confident that we are eating good, wholesome food for our bodily temples. And because this is the only tool we have to use, and inside of that tool are a whole host of practices and modalities that can help us elevate our spirit. And I think that's what we should do as humans. And if you find that interesting and you find that compelling, then come visit us. We're here every Sunday at 1:15. We get together to talk about all these other things. And you can find out more information on the mysticsofTexas.com or our main YouTube channel, which is the Mystics of Texas. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.